A search warrant was obtained for the home of legendary actor Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa on February 26, 2025, when their bodies were found with signs of decomposition at their home on Old Sunset Trail in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In the matter to the issuance of a search warrant in regard to a two-story residence that has olive green colored stucco. There is flagstone near the front entrance of the residence. The front door is facing southeast. The door appears to be a grand entry with glass windows and metal black frame. The stucco to the right of the entry on the northeast side is pink in color and then transitions to a tan in colored stucco. The residence is identified as 1425 Old Sunset Trail, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 87501. The residence is located in Santa Fe County, State of New Mexico. Affidavit for search warrant. Your affiant, Detective Roy Arndt, being duly sworn upon his oath, is a peace officer under the laws of New Mexico and makes the following statement. Affiant has reason to believe at the below-described residence, surrounding building, and curtilage located at 1425 Old Sunset Trail, Santa Fe, New Mexico, could contain evidence that would assist law enforcement in determining the circumstances pertaining to the death investigation of Eugene Gene Allen Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. Items to be seized collected. 1. Ignitable, flammable, explosive, and or combustible substances with solid, liquid, and or gas, and or containers, and or materials that may contain said substances, and or have said substances on them. 2. Materials apparently used and or intended for use in administering aid and or assistance to injured people. 3. Any documents which have what appears to be the personal identifying information of Eugene Gene Allen Hackman or Betsy Arakawa on it, and or any version of Eugene Gene Allen Hackman or Betsy Arakawa's name and or personal identifying information. 4. Narcotics and or any other controlled substances, including but not limited to any drug or substance listed in Schedules 1 through 5 of the Controlled Substance Act or regulations adopted thereto. 5. Documentation of the herein described premises, persons, and or the herein described items to be seized by means of measurement, photography, videography, and or any other means deemed necessary by law enforcement and or persons assisting law enforcement. 6. Cameras, video cameras, film, whether exposed and or unexposed, photographic negatives, photographs, photographic prints, DVRs, and or other images documented on any media, photography, and or videography equipment, photography and or videography accessories, and or devices apparently used to facilitate photography and or videography. 7. Clothing belonging or worn by Eugene Gene Allen Hackman or Betsy Arakawa. 8. Photographs of the residence, including the interior and exterior. 9. Latent and or visible prints, including but not limited to fingerprints and footwear impressions. 10. Materials apparently used and or intended for use in administering aid and or assistance to injured people. 11. Any weapons, tools, and or instruments capable of causing sharp force trauma to the human body. Documents that establish or tend to establish ownership, possession, use, transfer, and or the right to ownership, possession, use, and or transfer of the herein described items to be seized. 12. Any weapons, tools, and or instruments capable of causing blunt force trauma to the human body. Documents that establish or tend to establish ownership, possession, use, transfer, and or the right to ownership, possession, use, and or transfer of the herein described items to be seized. 13. Any item and or materials that have what appear to be impressions, marks, and or defects on said items and or materials. 14. Any record documented in any media which appears to be a password, personal identification number, items and or information used to access and or facilitate access of said items to be searched. 15. Biological fluids to include DNA, blood, or trace evidence. 16. Telephones and or cellular telephones. 17. In order to ensure that a complete and thorough investigation, investigators may be required to examine the entire above-mentioned premises, including but not limited to the examination of furniture, walls, plumbing equipment, or gas lines in or around the residence, and that the facts tending to establish the foregoing grounds for the issuance of a search warrant are as follows. Affiant Detective Roy Arndt is a full-time certified peace officer in the state of New Mexico who has attended the Mexico Law Enforcement Academy. He is currently commissioned and salaried by the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office, where he serves as a detective in the Criminal Investigations Division. Affiant has conducted numerous criminal investigations that led to the arrest and conviction of persons and currently has over 15 years of law enforcement experience. The facts set forth in this affidavit are based upon Affiant's personal observations, training, and experience, and information obtained from other law enforcement officers and civilian witnesses. This affidavit is made for the sole purpose of demonstrating probable cause for the issuance of the requested warrant and does not purport to set forth all Affiant's knowledge of or investigation into this matter. All times depicted in this writing are approximate. Statement of facts known to the affiant. At approximately 1:43 p.m. on Wednesday, February 26, 2025, Santa Fe Regional Emergency Communications Center, RECC, received a call for service regarding a reporting property, RP, locating two deceased individuals inside the residence of 1425 Old Sunset Trail, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Santa Fe County Patrol Deputies Javier Barron and Joshua Thomas were then dispatched to location to conduct a death investigation. When Deputy Thomas and Barron arrived, Deputy Thomas indicated he spoke to two individuals, one of which was the reporting party, who found and located the front door of the residence, 1425 Old Sunset Trail, to be opened ajar. Deputy Thomas identified the reporting party RP to be a male named Redacted. Redacted advised he works as maintenance work for a company called Home Company. The other maintenance worker was identified as Redacted. Deputy Thomas told Affiant after speaking to the two males, he and Deputy Barron then walked to the front of the residence and found the front door ajar. He advised he did not observe any signs of forced entry into the home. After Deputy Thomas entered the residence, he immediately observed a bathroom to the left of the front door. The door to the bathroom was opened. Deputy Thomas advised he observed a deceased female laying on the ground near the countertop inside the bathroom. The female was observed laying on her right side. He advised she was found wearing dark gray sweatpants and a light in color sweatshirt. The female was observed to have black in color hair. Deputy Thomas advised he observed a black in color space heater near the female's head. He advised he suspected the heater could have fallen in the event the female abruptly fell to the ground. He advised he also observed an orange prescription bottle on the countertop near the deceased female. The prescription bottle appeared opened with pills scattered on the countertop. Deputy Thomas advised the female decedent showed obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification in both hands and feet. Affiant learned Deputy Thomas and Barron continued to search the residence, where they then found a deceased, brown in color German Shepherd canine. The deceased canine was located approximately 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom. Deputy Thomas and Barron then proceeded to clear the other portions of the residence. In doing so, they observed a pair of feet and legs on the ground near the kitchen area. Deputy Thomas identified a male to be deceased in an area of the home he believed to be a mudroom. The deceased male, who was found wearing gray sweatpants, a blue in color long-sleeved t-shirt, brown slippers, and walking cane. Deputy Thomas indicated he observed a pair of sunglasses located near the decedent's left of his body. Based on Deputy Thomas's training and experience, he suspected the male individual has suddenly fallen. Deputy Thomas advised the male decedent also showed obvious signs of death, similar and consistent with the female decedent. Deputy Thomas advised there were 2 other dogs located on the property. He advised one of the healthy dogs was initially observed near the deceased female inside the bathroom, and the other healthy dog was observed outside the residence. Deputy Thomas advised he and Barron searched the remainder of the property and found all other buildings and the garage to be locked and secured. Deputy Thomas again advised that he did not observe any signs of forced entry into the residence. Deputy Thomas indicated he did not observe any indication the residence had been rummaged through or items were taken from inside the residence. He advised, based on his training and experience, that nothing appeared to be out of place while clearing the residence. Deputy Thomas indicated he asked redacted and redacted when they last had contact with the homeowners, and they both advised it was approximately 2 weeks prior. Both individuals advised they rarely saw the owners of the residence when conducting routine maintenance on the home. Both indicated they maintained contact with the homeowners through text message and phone calls, and primarily communicated with the female homeowner, identified as the deceased female, Betsy Arakawa. These 2 males identified Betsy's husband and Gene Hackman, or Eugene Allen Hackman, however, did not positively identify him as the deceased male. At this time, the male's true identity is unknown until further investigative research can be made and conducted. Deputy Thomas and Detective Joel Cano advised Santa Fe City Fire Department responded to the location and conducted testing to determine if there were signs of a possible carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. He advised the fire department did not locate signs of a carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. Those firefighters were identified as Captain Daniel Larrañaga, firefighter Adrian Perea, and engineer firefighter Anthony Ratliff. Affiant learned New Mexico Gas Company responded to the residence and was conducting active testing on the gas line in and around the residence. Those individuals were identified David Balizin and Thomas Barrera. As of now, there are no signs or evidence indicating there were any problems associated to the pipes in and around the residence. Affiant spoke to Corporal Alexandria Hancock, who advised the parcel of land and residence, 1245 Old Sunset Trail, belonged to the trustee of Edgar Gross. She obtained this information from a company identified as On X, which offered GPS mapping for hiking, hunting, and off-roading events. Affiant conducted research and found that the Santa Fe County tax parcel website revealed that the property was owned by Edgar F. Gross. Affiant is aware through training and experience, individuals exposed to gas leaks or poisonous gas can suffer immediate and unexpected death. Affiant is aware through training and experience that individual exposed to poisonous gas might not show apparent injuries. The search for and collection of items listed above to include biological material, trace evidence, or latent fingerprints at the residence can assist with the determination and cause of death. There are no immediate signs or indications of blunt force trauma. However, Affiant is seeking to seize any blunt force objects in the event there is any indication of blunt force trauma once the Office of Medical Investigations arrives on scene and conducts their field investigation and possible cause of death. At this time, the manner and cause of death pertaining to Eugene Gene Allen Hackman and Betsy Arakawa passing is unknown. Affiant believes that the circumstances surrounding the death of the two deceased individuals to be suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation because the reporting party found that the front door of the residence was unsecured and opened. Deputies observed a healthy dog running loose on the property, another healthy dog near the deceased female, a deceased dog laying 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom, the heater being moved, the pill bottle being opened, and pills scattered next to the female, the male decedent being located in a separate room of the residence, and no obvious signs of a gas leak. At this time, Affiant believes there is sufficient probable cause for the issuance of this search warrant. Any evidence collected could corroborate or refute statements made by those associated to the investigation and would assist law enforcement in determining the cause and manner of death in this investigation. Signed, Roy Arndt, Detective of Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. Subscribed and sworn to or declared and affirmed to before me in the above named county of the state of New Mexico this 26th day of February 2025, 21:30. Magistrate Judge, Santa Fe County.